Hello students. In the previous lectures we have already covered the basic formulas of stress, strain, Hooke's law. Now in this particular section we are going to apply those formulas for various calculations. Now let's take a case in which a bar is having varying cross section. We can see here that there is a bar and this bar is having different cross section area for different amount length portions of it. We can assume that let's say the bar is made up of same material. At the end of the bar there is a tensile load that is being applied, that is P here. Now because of this load that is being acted at the one end of the bar will elongate. We already know that the formula for the elongation of the bar is given by delta L is equal to PL divided by AE, where P is the applied load. For all these sections of the bar, the load P will remain same, while the length and area of the bar cross section will change. So we can apply this formula and calculate the total elongation of the bar by calculating the elongation of each individual section of this bar segments. So the total elongation delta L can be assumed to be it is the sum of delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3, the elongation of three different sections. When we apply the above formula, we know that the load P is same for all the sections. So that's why it is common, we bring it out of the bracket. As we assume that the bar is made up of same material, so modulus of elasticity will also remain constant, so we have also taken it out. So what remains in the bracket is the ratio of L1 by A1 plus L2 by A2 plus L3 by A3. So in this way we can calculate the total elongation of the bar. Now let's do one numerical to understand this in a better way. Now here we have a bar which is made up of steel. It has got three sections, 1, 2 and 3, and the cross section dimensions of this bar sections are also given. You can see that the first section is a 5 centimeter square section. So if you calculate the area, it will be 5 into 5, so that is 25 centimeter square cross section area will be there because it is a square section. The second section is circular and its diameter is given as 2.5 centimeters. So we need to apply pi by 4 d square. The d is equal to being 2.5. We can calculate the area of the second section, and the third section is also circular, which is of area diameter 4 centimeter. The length of the sections are also given to you. It is 12 centimeter, 8 centimeter and 10 centimeter respectively. At the end of the bar we are applying the tensile load of 100 kilonewton. The bar is made up of steel. All these three sections are made up of steel, so the modulus of elasticity for E is given as 200 gigapascal. In the first part of the numerical, we are required to calculate the minimum and maximum stresses that is being developed in this bar. So we have to identify the section where the maximum stress is being developed and where the minimum stress is being developed. As we know that stress is given by load divided by area. So load being same for all these three sections, it is the area which is changing continuously. So for the area of the section where it is minimum will provide you the maximum stress, because the stress is inversely proportional to the area, and where the area of the section where you get maximum area, the section where you get the maximum area will provide you the minimum stresses. So you can calculate the area of these sections, the load value being 100 kilonewton or 100 into 10 raised to power 3 newton. You can divide it by the corresponding area of the section, and you can calculate the value of stresses for all these three sections and identify the maximum and minimum stresses from these sections. Now let's come to the second part of this question, that is to calculate the total elongation. Now in order to calculate the total elongation, we need to apply the formula which we discussed above. and we need to calculate the elongation of each individual section, delta L1, delta L2 and delta L3. The load P will be remaining same for each of them. The modulus of velocity E will remain same, and you have the different L1 and A1 values for these. So you can apply this formula, add all these deformation of the sections and calculate the total deformation delta L as being the sum of all these three. I leave it as an home assignment for you to calculate all these values. So please make the calculations. I have already asked you to keep your calculator and register handy with you, so maybe you can calculate them during the class hours also, but please do calculate them as your home assignment and complete this problem. Now let's go and look this addition of the deformation that we have done in a broader aspect, which is called as a principle of superposition. Now what happens that sometimes a body is subjected to a number of forces acting on its outer edge as well as the other sections. The previous cases that we have considered, we have already applied the load at the end of the bar, but it may be possible that at different sections of the bar or machine member, the forces may be acting. So in this case, in order to identify the total deformation, you need to draw the individual sections free body diagram and see what amount of forces are acting on that particular section. So we will draw the free body diagram for individual section and identify the forces that are acting on them, and after that we will simply add the deformation by their proper algebraic sign. When I say algebraic sign, because in some cases the force that may be acting may be of compressive nature, while in some other cases on some particular section the force may be of tensile nature. So the tensile nature forces will be considered as positive, while the compressive forces will be considered as negative. So that's why we need to take the proper algebraic sign into consideration. The formula will remain same, that the total deformation will be the algebraic sum of the deformation of individual sections. Now let's try to understand this with the help of this example here. Here we have taken an example of a brass bar which is subjected to forces as given here in the figure. So this bar is of constant cross section. The area of cross section is not changing, it is same. It is 10 centimeter square, which is already given to you here in this problem. As it is a bar, the modulus of elasticity is 100 gigapascal. Now at different section of the bar, you can see at section A there is a 50 kilonewton force acting on the left hand side. At section B there is the 80 kilonewton force acting on the right hand side. At section C it is 20 kilonewton force acting on the left hand side, and finally the section D where the 10 kilonewton force is acting on the left hand side. Now as this bar is in equilibrium, static equilibrium, so all these forces are balancing. So therefore we will draw the free body diagram keeping this in mind. So let's draw the free body diagram first of the section AB, and we see here in the section AB there is a force of 50 kilonewton being applied on the left hand side. If you make the net sum of the forces that are acting on the right hand side, that means if you take the 80 kilonewton force on the right hand side and subtract from it the 30 kilonewton force, 20 plus 10 kilonewton, which are acting on the left hand side, the net force acting on the section B will be 50 kilonewton. So this particular section of the bar AB is in perfect equilibrium, static equilibrium, because there is a force of 50 kilonewton acting on left and right hand side both. Now because this force is of tensile nature, it will elongate this bar and the elongation bar section, and we can calculate this elongation using the formula delta L is equal to PL by AE. So for the section AB, the deformation will be calculated by taking the consideration of the force acting on this section, which is PAB. Here in this case it is 50 kilonewton, so 50 into 10 to the power 3. The length of bar is given as 60 centimeter, so you can calculate it in meters by 60 into 10 to the power minus 2. The area is already given to you as 10 centimeter square, convert it into meter and put the value of modulus of elasticity E as 100 into 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square. So once you have done it, you can calculate the elongation of the bar section AB in meters here using this formula. Once we have done it, let's look at the section BC. Now on the section B, the forces, net forces that are acting on the left hand side are 50 kilonewton on the left side and 80 kilonewton on the right side. So net effect will be 30 kilonewton on the right hand side. So 80 minus 50, that will give you the 30 kilonewton on the left hand side. Similarly, on the right hand side section, if we see that net forces that are acting are 20 plus 10 acting on the left hand side. So the net effect of these forces will be to basically compress the bar. So section BC is in under the compressive forces, and they will tend to shorten its length. We know that the compressive forces will tend to shorten the length of the bar. So we can calculate this shortage or decrease in the length of the section BC by substituting load BC PBC as 30 into 10 to the power 3 and the corresponding value of the geometric dimension, length, area, and the material value E. So this will provide us the shortening or decrease in the length of the section BC. Now we come to the section CD here. The section CD is experiencing 10 kilonewton force on the right hand side, which is acting towards the left side, and similarly we can calculate the net force that is acting on the left section or left part of this at point C. So that will also be 10 kilonewton. Again, this force is of compressive nature, and because of this there will be decrease in the length of the section CD, which you can calculate using this formula by keeping the value of PCD as 10 into 10 to the power 3 newtons. Now the time comes to apply the formula of principle of superposition. So we need to see that here we use the proper sign. So delta LAB will come with the sign with positive because it is increase in length of the bar, while BC and CD will come with a negative sign because they are basically decrease in the length of the this particular machine component. So the net deformation that will come will be the algebraic sum with the proper sign, and final total deformation we can calculate using this formula. Now again I will ask you to calculate all these values as your home assignment at home and see whether this delta L turns out to be net positive or net negative. It is net positive. If it is net positive, there will be a overall increase in the length of this section, length of this bar, and if it is net negative, that means there is a decrease in the length of the bar. Now let's do one more numerical, and this time we have a bar of varying section. Last time it was a constant cross section 10 centimeter square was given. Now the different part AB, BC and CD are having different cross section area. They are of 6.25, 25 and 12.5 centimeter square respectively. So cross section area is given to you. You can see the forces that are acting at different sections of the beam, section of the bar. They are P1, P2, P3, P4. Their proper direction is also given over there. The magnitude of three forces P1, P3 and P4 are given to you, but you are not given the value of load P2. So that is not given in the question. You are given the materials modulus of elasticity, that is like steel, so it is 200 gigapascal. What you need to do in this question is you are asked to calculate the total elongation. Now before calculating the total elongation, we need to know the amount of forces acting on the each section, but we don't know the value of load P2, which is not given in the problem. So in order to calculate the value of load P2, we will apply the static equilibrium equation of the forces because this bar is in complete equilibrium. So we will see what forces are acting on the left hand side. Net forces are acting on the left hand side are P1 plus P3, and the net forces that are acting on the right hand side are P2 plus P4. Now their sum should be equal. So we have used this equality here. We will substitute the value of P1, P3, P4, and using this force equilibrium equation, we can calculate the value of P2, 365 kilonewton, which is a positive value. So whatever direction we have chosen in this figure, So it will be acting in this direction with a value of 365 into 10 to the power 3 Newton. Once we have calculated the value of the loads, we are going to draw the free body diagram of each individual section. We draw first the diagram for the section AB, and section AB is having 45 kilonewton force, which is the P1 acting on the left hand side. Obviously there will be net sum of the forces acting on the right hand side will be 45 kilonewton. You can do it and check it yourself. So there is a 365 minus 450 plus 130, that will come out to be your net force of 45 kilonewton on the right hand side also. So the load that is acting on the section AB is 45 kilonewton. We are going to apply the formula of deformation, delta L is equal to PL by AE, and calculate the value of deformation for the first section. Now this is a tensile force that is acting on the section AB, so the net deformation will be positive in nature. Now let's take the section BC. As we have done earlier, we see that the net force that is acting on will be P2 minus P1. P2 is, your value is given, you have already calculated as 365. P1 is 45, so 365 minus 45 will be net force 320 kilonewton. And similarly we can calculate the force on the section C, which will be also 320 kilonewton. So this is a compressive force that is acting on the section BC, so there will be shortening of the length, so delta LBC will be finally negative value, where PBC will be 320 into 10 to the power 3. Now last but not the least, we will have the section CD, and section CD again we will apply the force equilibrium. You will find that the force P4 was 130 kilonewton on the right hand side. Equal amount of force will be acting 130 kilonewton on the left section of this section CD, and you can calculate that this is tensile in nature, so it will increase its length, and the final total deformation that we will calculate will be delta LAB minus delta LBC plus delta LCD. So here only one component of the deformation will be negative because it is due to the compressive stresses. So please make all these calculations in your home assignment, and you can see the total net deformation delta L. It may turn out to be whether a positive value or a negative value, that let me know. Now let's come to the next case. In this particular case we are talking about compound bars which are subjected to tension or compression. What you are seeing in this figure is basically a solid rod, which is given as this red rod, which is number 1. So there is a solid steel rod at the middle maybe. So it may be a circular in section, it may be a square in section, that may be the different case. So you know the cross section area of it. So enclosing this solid rod, there is a circular cylinder which is given by your number 2. So this number 2 is your circular cylinder. This is a cross section sectional view, so that's why you can see these hatching lines over here. So 2 is basically your circular cylinder. So they both are of same length, 1 and 2 are both of same length, and with the help of some plates they are being put under some kind of a compressive load which is given by P. Now as these both the members, the solid middle portion and the circular tube which is outside, they both are sharing this total load that is being applied on them. So the actual load that will be acting on each of these will be given by, let's say, P1 plus P2, and they will be the sum of the net load will be the sum of P1 plus P2. So P1 and P2 are the load carried by each of these material parts, the middle part and the tube part. Let's say the E1 and E2 are the modulus of elasticity of these two materials which have been used. Let's say the central one may be of steel, the outer one may be made up of aluminum or brass, so their modulus of elasticity may be different. You can calculate the cross section area for the middle component as well as the outer tube. For the middle component, if it is circular, it will be simply pi by 4 d square. For the outer tube, it will be pi by 4 the d1 minus d2 square, where d1 may be the outer circular diameter and the d2 may be the inner circular diameter of the particular tube. So you can just simply have the pi by 4 d1 minus d2 square, or pi by 4 capital D minus small d square, whatever notation you choose, and you can calculate the area for the tube. Now the strain that will be produced will be same in both of these components, because the net deformation, the initial length of these components are same, and the net deformation that will happen will be the same, because they are bounded by the plates at the end. So you can see there are blades at the end, so they both will have the similar deformation, delta L, and the initial length is same, so delta L by L will be the same, so they will be producing the same strain value. Now in order to calculate the strain, as we have the formula for delta L is equal to PL by AE, so delta L by L will be equal to P by AE. So the load value for individual section can be utilized as P1 by A1 E1 or P2 by A2 E2 in order to determine the strain epsilon. So using this we can calculate P1 in terms of P2. So P1 can be written as P1 equal to P2 into A1 E1 divided by A2 E2. We will use this equation 3 into equation 1. So we will substitute for P1 the value of that we have calculated from equation 3 into equation 1, and this will give us here P is equal to P2 1 plus A1 E1 by A2 E2. Using this we can determine the value of load P2. So P2 can be determined in terms of applied load and the system's geometric parameter as well as the material parameter. Once we have got the value of P2, we can substitute the equation 4 into equation 1 to obtain the value of P1. So we have got value of P1, we have got the value of P2, so we know the load that is acting on individual section of the material, and using these you can also determine the stresses that are acting in this section 1 and 2. Simply you need to divide the value of load P2 by the area of cross section A2. So that will be P E2 divided by A1 E1 plus A2 E2, that will be the stress in the section 2. You can also calculate the stress in section 1 by dividing this relation P1 equal to, just a minute, P1 equal to P A1 E1 A by A1 E1 plus A2 E2. So if you divide it by area A1, cross section area A1, you will obtain the value of stresses for the section 1. Or you can use the equation 4 or 5 in equation 2. So the equation 2 is there, and you can calculate the strain in the component. So strain in the component can be calculated using this formula. So here you have the load P value divided by A1 E1 plus A2 E2, that will provide you the net strain in the machine part. Let's do one numerical on the basis of this compound bar calculations that we formulation that we have seen. Here there is a variation here. This is similar to what I have drawn earlier, but only difference being is that the one particular bar, the central bar, is smaller in length in comparison to the outer cylinder. So the outer cylinder is of the length 500 plus 500.15 millimeter, and the inner rod is of the dimension 500 millimeter. So the cylinder is 15 millimeter longer in comparison to the central rod. So we have a central solid steel bar, and it is encased by a hollow aluminum tube. Hollow aluminum tube being of the length 500.15 millimeter, and the steel rod is having the length 500 millimeter. Their other dimensions are also given. The steel bar is having the diameter of 70 millimeter, which will be helpful to calculate the diameter area of cross section of the steel bar. The outer and inner diameter of the steel tube is also given as 100 millimeter and 75 millimeter. So using these you can calculate the area of cross section. The material's modulus of elasticity are also given to you. You need to calculate the stresses that are being produced in each of these sections. So in order to determine the stresses that are acting in each of these sections, you need to first determine the area of cross section that you have calculated here. So we are just simply calculating the area. These are very simple calculations. The net load that is acting on the and shared by both the components are 600 kilonewton. So obviously finally this load is being shared by aluminum and steel part. So PAL plus PES, it is similar to like P is equal to P1 plus P2 we have written in our earlier formulation. And now we need to find the reduction in length of aluminum tube. So let's apply the formula delta L is equal to PL by AE. We yet not know the value of load that is being shared by the aluminum tube, so we have just kept it as PAL, but we know the other dimension, other values of length, area and E that we have substituted. So delta LAL will turn out to be 2.08 into 10 to the power minus 6 PAL by using these calculations. You can also calculate the reduction in the length of the steel rod using the similar formula. Again, you don't know the value of PS, so you just keep it like this and substitute the other values of L, A and E for the steel rod and calculate this value as 0.59 into 10 to the power minus 6 PS. Now we will take advantage of the deformation knowledge that we have. We know that the total deformation of aluminum tube will be 15 millimeter more in comparison to steel rod final deformation. So that's why delta LAL will be equal to delta LS plus 0.15. So we will substitute equation 2 and 3 in equation 4, and finally we will get another equation which will be in terms of PAL and PS. One equation we already have here, this is the equation 1. The second equation we have obtained using the deformation knowledge that we have. So applying this deformation constant, we have obtained the equation 5. So using equation 1 and 5, there are two algebraic equations, two unknown PAL and PS. We can calculate the value of PS and PAL. So we can calculate the value of load shared by the steel rod and load shared by the aluminum tube using this. Once we have known the value, we get the value of PS and PAL, we can calculate the value of final stresses. We simply need to divide the corresponding load value with the corresponding area, which we have already calculated, and you can calculate the stress that is being developed in the steel rod as well as the aluminum tube using these following two equations. So that is it for today's lecture. There are a lot of problems which are given in your book. You may be using any standard book which is available on the internet, or maybe soft copy is available with you. Please go through those example problems given in that book, as well as the numerical problems which are given at the end of the chapter. Try to solve those problems and see if you can solve all these problems or not.